because for years I kept thinking, wow, this is my first time making real money. Yeah, I got a check for $2.5 million, but hell, I left probably $5 million on sitting on the table if I'd have played out that season and obviously made it into the next contract. So that's why I say it's that shoulda, coulda, woulda. We all have a story. We all have to own up to it. We all have to live it. And I finally realized, you know what, Corey? Be thankful for the 6-7 years that you got in, because some folks didn't get 1 in. Some folks didn't get 2 in. Some folks didn't get 3 in. So that's how I started treating it, man. That's how I started really, really just looking at it.
Yeah. And those guys that, after 6-7 years, you've seen a ton of guys come in and not make it, at various points. There's guys right now that they're still trying to get into camp.
Yeah.
They're waiting by the phone. Their agents are telling them, hey, don't go back to school. Keep working out. It's a full-time thing. So here we are in May, and another thing the NFL announced is that they want to move the draft in 2014 to May. This is part of their effort, I believe, and I think they've stated this, that they want to stretch out the NFL season, if you will, and get folks to tune in and watch the draft and sell advertising in the month of May. And right now, here we are in May, and it's a little bit slow in terms of NFL news, but the draft. Yeah. There's going to be
OTAs
plenty
and the mini camp. So it's you know what I call it, Steve? Money. Got to get my hands on some.
Yeah.
The league realizes that they have a powerful shield. They have a powerful brand. I was telling you early, and I was telling someone else. Believe it or not, the people that tune in to the draft and that tune in to watch the scouting combine, on the NFL Network, if you're talking about television ratings, they're like at a 1.2, 1.3. So from my understanding, and I'm not a television guy, that's competing with some Monday night shows and not prime time, but that 10 o'clock slot. So that equates to what? Dollars. So this is simply about dollars and cents. So interesting, man. Interesting.
There's a lot of Gatorade to be sold. There's a lot of sports apparel, a lot of Nike shoes. It is about the money. And, there are folks that are out there and they're just hungry for football. That's kind of what we're trying to fill some of that void. So, if we got some folks out there, like our friend in Pennsylvania who's been calling in, 714-510-3759 is the number. The lines are open. Please join the conversation with Corey Lucci and Steve Hoyam at First in Life. Again, that's 714-510-3759. We'd love to have you call in and say hello and just talk about whatever it is you want to be talking about. But so far, Corey and I have relived some of the journey to Southern California from last week to meet with Lisa Nichols and talk a little bit about Roger Goodell's comments on a kinder, gentler way to cut people from the NFL and moving the draft to May. And, those are some of the highlights from the week in NFL football news. But
well, Steve, I'll give you one. I had no clue that the newspaper and the media kept track of how many interceptions a quarterback throws in OTAs. Poor Mark Sanchez can't catch a break, bro. I was like, wait a minute, this is news? Are you kidding me? They're out there in T-shirts and shorts, and you're keeping track of how many interceptions this guy threw in OTA? Dude, Geno Smith will get ready. He will be named starter opening day. David Garrard got injured again, so cut. What do you want to call it? Sanchez will probably be out of here. Dude, they're keeping track of how many interceptions the guy threw in OTAs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's, maybe that's part of Jay-Z's strategy. Or,
oh, wow.
Or maybe they're doing an OTA fantasy league, and they want to start keeping stats.
Well, no, because you remember last year it was all about Tebow. It was Tim Tebow mania, and that was, obviously cameras. I think ESPN stayed on location the entire Jets training camp. So yeah, I know, right? I know, and
that's
you
not
know,
a distraction.
well, I was gonna say, not to sound funny, but you know, look at this guy. He see, there's a good chance he will not be on a. Matter of fact, you know what? I even make you a bet right now. If he does not agree to change positions, he won't be on an NFL team's opening day roster.
Yeah,
he won't. There have been several breaking stories that have basically said where teams were interested if he was willing to move to tight end, fullback, halfback, flanker, what do you want to call it? And he said no. He knows he's a quarterback. He's had some teams from Canada say sure, come up and play quarterback, but he's like no. He still feels like he's good enough to be in the NFL. Now see, again, going back to what's a nice way of cutting a guy. Well, truth be told, Tim Tebow should have never been in the National Football League as a starting quarterback. And you know, those are just facts. So anybody out there tuning in, listening, I'm going to tell you right now, Tim Tebow should have never been in the National Football League as a starting NFL quarterback. And don't give me that crap about, oh, he went to Denver and he won a playoff game. No, Denver's defense won a playoff game. Sorry, hate to be the bearer of bad quote-unquote news. Tim Tebow, he's a great person, but he is not a starting NFL quarterback. He's not. He is not. He doesn't have the throwing range motion. He doesn't have the foot speed. He's not. So get over it, folks. Stop reading the papers. Stop talking about what he did when he was at Florida when he was in college. That's why there's college football, and that's why there's the National Football League. And I'm telling you right now, there's a big difference between the two. And, Steve, I know you agree with me there. But talking about getting a guy cut and how you know you should go out and how a guy should be taken care of, right? If you essentially think about it, the Jets gave him $3 million last year. Okay, he was due another roster bonus. I'm assuming he didn't get it since they cut him before the draft. But that $3 million salary last year was his send-off, bro. I'm telling you right now, that was his send-off. So I see him working at either ESPN or one of the major networks. Obviously, he can go and speak because he's a good guy. He's a good high character guy, but that does not equate to starting NFL quarterback, man. It just does not. No way, no how.
What's your prediction? Your Tebow prediction for?
He will not be on a team unless he swallows his pride and ego, okay? Because if it's really about being on a National Football League team, hell, I know some guys, bro, you could have made them the kicker, punter, snapper, whatever. They just wanted to be on a roster. So if it's really about him being a part of a team, he's got to swallow his pride and be like, you know what? All right, fine. I'm not going to be a quarterback. And I believe with every ounce of me, before he walks away from whatever, potential payday he has, his handlers or whoever's in his corner will sort of grab him and say, look, bro, you know what? We got a team that's still offering to pay you, $2 million, whatever it is. I don't know. Take it. I think if he wanted a shot at being a quarterback, he should have signed with his home team, Jacksonville Jaguars, last year, because just on the strength of numbers, okay, if he can move the numbers, if he can move the gates and the stands, merchandise, then yes, they will put him on that team as a backup quarterback and come see Tim Tebow because he just guaranteed us another 15,000 fans. I don't think he still has that appeal. I don't.
I would agree with you
don't.
there. But it was Jacksonville.
Now, last year, coming off of what he did in Denver, I'll give him that credit. Last year, coming off of the hype in Denver, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in that first round of the playoffs, Jacksonville would have signed him, probably would have signed him to a 3-year, $10, $15 million contract. That's where he should have gone. But, again, ego got in the way. His handlers got in the way. Dude, you can go to New York City. If you can go to New York City and play, and you can deal with their media and their fans, look at how much more money you can make off the field in endorsements. Trust me on that note. Got a little inside knowledge with that one, bro. Trust me.
But, just play the devil's advocate here. By going to New York and being in that market, prime time, Broadway, blah, 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 the fact that he wasn't playing and that, he wasn't playing for the Jets and he wasn't playing because he was behind Mark Sanchez and all the news that the Jets generated with not playing Tim Tebow, in a way that kind of helped his status, right? I mean,
see, see, Steve, I actually disagree with that. I think, in a way, the fact that he was here in this market, playing behind Mark Sanchez, who finished the season last year with the most interceptions out of every starting quarterback in the National Football League, okay, who's basically on the verge of getting cut from the Jets team right now, that speaks volume. That says if you can't take this guy's spot, who's on his way out of the league too, you can't play. You can't be here. Now, I will say this, in defense of Sanchez, he's the same quarterback that took the Jets to one game 3 years ago away from the Super Bowl. He did it 2 years straight. So he has talent, Steve. There's something there. But they lost this kid, man. New York City, this market is brutal. It's brutal, Steve. It's brutal. I guarantee you Sanchez didn't leave his house last year other than to go to practice, stop at a fast food restaurant, and go home. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Because these people here just don't care.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that. So you stop and you think, you 20-something years old, you're making all this daggone money, you're living in New York City, and you feel like you can't even leave your house for fear of being ridiculed and laughed at and put down. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, Mark Sanchez has a better chance of making someone else's team as a backup than Tebow has making someone's team, period.
Right.
Because I guarantee you, there's someone out here that's gonna see. All right, Mark Sanchez took the Jets, from one game 2 years straight from being in the biggest game of them all, the Super Bowl. Some team, there's somebody willing to bet on that. Now he's gonna take a pay cut. Steve, Mark Sanchez is slated to make $8 million this year.
Yeah,
$8 million. And the saddest thing about it is they can't really cut him right now, even if they wanted to. So there's a good chance he'll be on the Jets bench backing up, making $8 million, bro. That what they've been trying to do all off season is to get somebody who needs a quarterback to say, look, come in, pick up $2 million of this salary or $3 million of their salary, and we'll eat the rest. Because right now they're in a no-win situation. I don't care what anyone says, bro. They're in a no-win situation. If you play him, he doesn't do well, guess what? Oh, what was the Jets thinking? You don't play him, he goes somewhere else, he does well, oh, what was the Jets thinking? They're in a no-win situation.
So what's your prediction for Tebow?
I'm telling you, he will, unless he swallows his pride, he will not be on an opening day roster. I guarantee you that. He will not be.
Is he going to swallow his pride?
I don't think so. I mean, I would like to think, look, the common sense side of me says somebody's going to reach him and say, look, Tim, if you really want a shot at, continuing to keep your endorsements up. Steve, look, and I'm sorry, I know we run out of time here. The reason I say I have some inside knowledge on this because when I worked at Action in Sports, we did a sidebar deal for him. So I know his handlers. I know his people, okay? I didn't know this, but 3 years ago, Tim Tebow had the number one selling jersey in the NFL, and he never started a game. Tim Tebow had the number one selling jersey in the NFL, and he never started a game. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I was like, wow. Because I was in Brandon, guess what? He was a moneymaker. He was the golden boy. He was what, and look, let's be real about it. He was what every sports fan, especially white America, loves, dude. He was wholesome. He was a Christian. He's a good guy. He really is a good kid, Steve. But he just can't play. But he was a good guy. And I remember thinking, how is it that this kid comes from the University of Florida, and he's drafted by the Denver Broncos, he never has played a game, and he has the highest selling jersey in the NFL because everybody wants to be a part of a winner, and everybody wants to be a part of a great story. So I said all along, I remember playing in a golf tournament for Autism Speaks 3 years ago, and this guy literally almost cussed me out. He goes, well, what do you think about Tebow? I said, well, what about him? Well, you don't think he's going to be great? I said, no. Well, how can you say that? You're just a hater. No, I'm not a hater, bro, and I'm not a talent scout. But I can tell you right now, if Tim Tebow is a starting quarterback in the National Football League, no pun intended, every black college kid at a black college who's running the option, okay, because that's what they're essentially doing, should be starting in the National Football League. And it's not happening.